Hi, so I'm going to be talking today about Matthew through the three worlds. So I'm going to talk first about the historical world or the background information of the chapter. Then I'm going to go through the literary world, which is what the book literally says. And finally, the contemporary world, which is I'm going to talk about the message that I got after reading the chapter multiple times. So I chose Matthew chapter 15, which is located on pages 1804 through 1806 in our textbook, the Bible. So the historical world, so these are just some things that I thought might be helpful if they were defined before reading the chapter. So right off the bat in verse 1 there's mention of Pharisees, and those are it's a group of people that believe in both the written and the oral Torah, and they really strictly follow the traditions of the Father. In verses 3 and 4 Jesus says, "Why do you break the commandment of God? Honor your father and your mother." And so in this part, he's referencing the 10 Commandments from the Old Testament. And now the 10 Commandments are found mainly in Catholicism. And they are basically like the 10 biggest rules for being a devoted Catholic. And just being, just following those rules. Anyway, you got the message. And then another thing is there's intertextuality in this chapter, and it quotes Isaiah in verses 8 and 9. And Isaiah is a prophet from the Old Testament. And then another character that was mentioned in this chapter is mentioned in verse 15, and that is the character of Peter, and Peter is one of Jesus's disciples. And then verse 21, there's mention of Tyre and Sidon. I think I'm saying that right. Might be Sidon, I'm not sure, but I was saying Sidon. Anyway, but this is a district northwest of the Sea of Galilee. Alright, now on to the literary world, or what the words on the pages say. So Jesus was through the timeline, Jesus was approached by these Pharisees and scribes with their criticisms. And basically he listened to what they had to say, and then he responded, he spoke his piece, and then he left. And he went to the district of Tyre and Sidon, and there he was approached by a Canaanite woman with a tormented daughter. She believed that her daughter was tormented by the demon, and basically she proved her faith and he healed the daughter. And then from here he moves to a mountain by the Sea of Galilee. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. So he moved to a mountain by the Sea of Galilee, and people came to him with their sick after they saw what happened to this Canaanite woman's daughter. So they came to him with their sick, and they proved their faith, and he healed them. Jesus and his disciples then fed the people that went to the mountain, because Jesus saw, he had compassion for these people that stayed there for 3 days with nothing, and he had compassion for them, and so he provided them with food. And then it moves on to chapter 16. So now I'm going to talk about the contemporary world in chapter 15. So this is basically, after reading it multiple times, this is the message that I got from reading. So I basically, when I was reading, I broke it up into 3 main messages. The messages I found were verses 1 through 20, and then verses 21 through 31, And then the last message that I found was verses 32 through 39. So verses 1 through 20, more specifically 16 through 18, was where I found the first message. Verses 16 through 18 says, "Then he said, 'Are you also still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth enters the stomach and goes out into the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this is what defiles.'" So basically what I got from this message was that loyalty to God is proven more through actions and not merely words. And this is like the saying, actions speak louder than words. So if you really want to prove your loyalty to God, do so with what you do and not just what you say. The second message that I found was in verses 21 through 31, most specifically in verse 28. That's verse 28 says, "Then Jesus answered her, 'Woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish.'" So basically this is when the Canaanite woman, she gets her prayers answered and Jesus heals her daughter. So basically what I got out of this is if you show your faith in God, then he will hear and answer your prayers. So she proved her faith, she proved that she was devoted to God, and Jesus then answered her prayer of healing her daughter. And then the final message that I found in this is in verses 32 through 39, which is when God and his disciples fed the people that were there at the mountain. So he said that he had compassion for these people because they were consistently there with nothing, just because they knew that the faith that they had in God, that God would answer. And so basically the message that I got from this is with consistent devotion and faith in the Lord and like proving your faith, he will provide for you, and so just complete devotion and complete faith in the Lord, he will provide. So that's what I got out of chapter 15.